At dinner, during a recent trip to Florida, I asked my nephew to hold on to my sunglasses. He asked me where I got them from. I replied, Shady Rays. We carried on with our meal, not thinking much about it. A few minutes later, he received a text. He looked at his phone and replied. Then, like many of us, he opened up Instagram and began to scroll. To his surprise, he was served an ad for, you guessed it, Shady Rays, a brand he had literally just heard of. Stories like this are becoming more and more common, leading many people to theorize that our phones are always listening to us. On the surface, that seems like a plausible answer, but it isn't the listening that concerns most privacy experts, it's the talking. You see, my nephew's phone can't listen to our conversation, but it can transmit its location, and that opens a world of information to advertisers and more.
The longer that we've had cell phones, the more data you can vacuum up out of them, and you can use for all kinds of purposes.
That's privacy expert Robert Reeve. He gave us the inspiration for this story when his tweet on the subject went viral in May 2021.
All these little things that seem just like meaningless little bits of data sharing actually add up into creating very detailed pictures of how we interact with people, not just on the web, but off the web too.
This detailed picture is also known as our digital profile. Advertisers build this digital profile through data tracking.
When they look at all this data, they start putting together ad profiles. So they sell ads based on that data. Ad companies can buy ads based on that data.
Historically, data tracking has been done via cookies. For those who don't know, cookies are tiny text files that your computer sends to apps and websites, so you don't have to enter the same information again and again. Everyone is being tracked. Again, this isn't always bad. Who can remember all 16 of their passwords anyway? But cookies on my phone don't explain why my nephew got served those sunglasses ads on his phone. Enter location tracking.
Mobile location data has been important for many years from a business standpoint. And so it's gathered, really simply put, through the global positioning systems in our phones.
Here's how it all works. 24 active satellites and 8 spare satellites located nearly 12.5 miles above Earth's surface broadcast different signals to GPS receivers on Earth. Receivers can be found in phones, watches, tablets, computers, and even cars. With signals from at least 3 of these satellites, the global positioning system can pinpoint your precise location. This process is called trilateration.
When we sign privacy policies, we are often signing away the rights to all kinds of data, including location data. Often buried in those consent forms are the rights for all of this data to get used.
Using these GPS coordinates, ad buyers can start linking ad profiles based on how long devices are near each other. For example, my nephew and I hung out together all weekend, so our GPS coordinates would have been near each other for days. But even if you don't allow apps to use your location, you still might be tracked. A recent Princeton study found that smartphone locations can be tracked even if all location services and GPS have been turned off. We've linked to the study in the video's description below. When you use a private Wi-Fi network, connections between people and devices become clearer, deducing that you and anyone on that network may have a personal relationship.
If I am connected to a Wi-Fi network, you don't really need to use GPS to track me because Wi-Fi networks can correspond with physical locations. It just so happens that your cell phone connects to Wi-Fi and cell towers, so it can give a very precise location by comparing different pieces of location tracking data.
But obtaining your location and a picture of your closest associates is just step one. Here's where things get interesting. Each mobile device, regardless of manufacturer, has a unique ad ID. People we interact with also have their own unique ad IDs. And marketers can start making assumptions based on these connections. Say I search for guitars. That and anything else I search for will be linked to my ad ID. ad buyers can then start sending me guitar ads. But now that my phone knows my location and that I'm interested in guitars, it can also assume that those who I spend the most time with might also be interested in guitars. And all this rocking out reminds me of Robert's story about his mother's toothpaste.
This summer, I went home to my mom's. I brushed my teeth every night and every morning, and I used her toothpaste. And the moment I got home, I got on Twitter and I got an ad for Sensodyne toothpaste. It was not even like weird or vaguely off-putting, it was just a toothpaste ad. But because I had been around Sensodyne toothpaste all week, it jumped out at me. I know that one of the ways that advertisers can get more information about us is by linking ad profiles together. So if my mom has been buying Sensodyne toothpaste, people who are combining data sets like that, paying to build more and more detailed profiles on us, can combine this detailed profile of my mom with this detailed profile of me and put them together to find ways where they can advertise to me based on things my mom does.
In a sense, they are digitally recreating our real-life networks and sharing our online habits with the phones of those we spend the most time with. Coworkers at the office, family, friends at the park, and on and on and on. This all might be a little overwhelming and scary, but there are steps you can take to protect yourself and your data. First and foremost, you should practice privacy hygiene. This simply means be more wary about what you sign up for online. There are also steps you can take to slow down this data collection. Both Apple and Android allow you to reset your ad ID with just a few clicks. You can opt out of personalized ads entirely, or you can reset or cycle your ad ID, disrupting the profiles ad networks have collected about you. Preventing GPS tracking is a touch more complicated. The easiest, but also the least convenient way to turn off your location tracking is to enter airplane mode. Some phones may also allow you to turn off your GPS radio and/or location services. But of course you won't be able to use apps that rely on GPS like Google Maps, Uber, or Lyft. If you're looking for a surefire way to be untraceable, you'll need to completely power down your device, or switch back to one of these bad boys. At the end of the day, many people still aren't bothered by data collection. If it's only used to serve you and your friends the same sunglass ad, who cares? But it's important to bear in mind that your personalized data can be used in a substantially more damaging way.
You know, it's about the fact that this information represents where we physically are and have been, or what our personal interests are, who we might be associated with. And that kind of information can be used by foreign adversaries. It can be used by our ex-boyfriend who wants to stalk us. There's all sorts of ways that actually can harm people that this information can be used for.
What's your craziest story about your eavesdropping phone? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.